Hello, this is Clarence, and today we're going to be discussing Amazon's A9 algorithm and its search engine optimization, why you need to know about them, and how they can benefit you as a seller, and how they relate to each other. But before I proceed with this, I just want to bring this up real quick that throughout this video, I'm going to refer to it as A9 algorithm and not A10. And just to give a little bit of context, with the recent updates that Amazon did for their algorithm, people start to think it's the A10 algorithm. But the thing is, Amazon hasn't released any statements yet that it's A10. So I'm just going to refer to it as A9 or updated A9. All right, let's proceed with this. What is organic ranking? It is when you rank higher on a search result through means of Amazon's algorithm. So this is keyword to keyword basis. So you have to work your organic ranking way up there for each and every keyword that you're indexing for. So if your organic ranking for boxing gloves is high, that doesn't mean it's going to be high as well for red boxing gloves or fighting gloves. So again, keyword to keyword basis, and their ranking is driven by your performance, like having good sales, good impressions, good click-through rate, and so on. Major factors that influence Amazon's A9 algorithm. So this is in no order, but organic sales. That is the most, if one of the most important when it comes to ranking. It is one of the biggest driving factors for organic ranking, and organic sales happens when a customer types in a search query, is then redirected to the search results page, finds your product, clicks on it, and purchases your product. That's going to be organic sales. Sales history. Having good and consistent sales velocity helps in organic ranking. And this is exactly why it's important that we always track our inventory or that we're always in stock. Because what's gonna happen if we were out of stock just for a couple of days, well, what's gonna happen is that's gonna affect our organic ranking, and definitely not in a good way. So what's Amazon is gonna think is that since you run out of stock, Amazon is gonna think you're an irresponsible seller, that you're not managing your inventory good enough. So they're gonna punish your organic ranking for that, and you're gonna have to start all over again. And imagine having months worth of progress for your organic ranking, for the keywords that you have. All of that is gonna go down the drain if you run out of stock, even just for a few days. So you definitely don't want to be in that situation. So you want to avoid that, and you can do that by simply, or you can avoid that just by simply tracking your inventory. You want to estimate when exactly, which day, which week we're gonna run out of stock. But anyway, seller's authority determined by buy box and product listing. Factors such as feedback, ratings, how long you've been on Amazon, and etc. And how well you've handled product returns is also going to be included in this. But let's say that you receive you receive a negative seller's feedback, but it's written as a product review. So what you can do instead is you can actually have that reported to Amazon, and they can have that taken down, because sellers feedback, that's supposed to be for sellers, while reviews or product reviews, that's supposed to be for products only. You see what I'm saying? So you can have that reported, you can actually do something about those certain situations. So you need to track your ratings and your feedbacks as well, because just because you receive a negative rating or a feedback, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And it's inevitable that we're going to receive those type of reviews or those feedbacks. Doesn't matter how perfect the product you're selling, you're always going to receive them. There's always going to be a customer who feels like that they need to leave a negative product review, a negative seller's feedback. So Click-through rate. The ratio of customers who click your product out of those who have seen it. So this is basically the amount of customers who will click your product out of those who've seen them. And impressions, customers who have seen your product. So very self-explanatory, but this is when your product pops up in front of the customer screen. That's going to be counted as impression. So um, I'm going to talk about click-through rate and impression just for a little bit, but click-through rate and impressions, while impressions is a major factor that influence organic ranking and the algorithm, but that doesn't mean that high impression means good in all situations. No, because if that's the case, if your impressions are high but your click-through rate is low, Amazon is actually going to take that against you. You're going to take a toll for that. Just because it's a major factor, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to index for as many keywords as possible. Even though that they're not that relevant to your product, you're going to receive a punishment from Amazon for doing that. So what you want to do is you want to index for as many relevant keywords as much as possible. In that way, you're going to have a good balance between click-through rate and impressions. But internal sales. This is sales coming from outside of Amazon's search results. So this is kind of opposite of organic sales in a way that in organic sales, the sales comes from or the purchase comes from when a customer finds your product under search results and then purchases it. While internal sales, this is when a customer finds your product on the frequently bought together section or products similar to this item of a product detail page, or also it also happens when the customer finds your product, clicks on it under add to cart page. So that's going to be considered internal sales when a customer purchases it. That's that way. Conversion rate, the ratio of customers who purchase your product out of those who viewed them. So this is the amount of customers who purchase your product out of those who viewed them or who just not purchase your product. So impressions, click-through rate, conversion rate, it goes like that. They click on it, that's going to be impressions. They view it, that's going to be click-through rate. And then they purchase it, that's going to be conversion rate. So those are the matrices that you need to always look after at, that you need to monitor. And there's also a lot of other matrices that you need to track, like ACOS and ROAS. But these three, they're just one of the important matrices that you need to look after, especially if you're running PPC advertisements. But I digress. Offsite traffic and sales. This is outside of Amazon. Traffic coming from websites like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and etc. So this is when, let's say, you're running Facebook advertisements and you manage to draw in decent amount of audience from Facebook to your Amazon store, and then some of them purchased one of your products, that's gonna be counted as offsite traffic and sales. And it's a really good time to take advantage of this to boost your organic ranking and your sales in general. And that's because of the recent updates that Amazon did for their algorithm, where there's a lot more weight to it now for organic ranking. It's a bigger influence now than ever. And on top of that, you have the attribution tool where you can track your non-Amazon advertisement performance and their matrices like impressions, click-through rate, conversion rate, and so on, and a lot more matrices, especially sales. So you can track those with the attribution tool. And with the addition of that, it's actually a viable option now to run Facebook advertisements for your Amazon store. Back then, a lot of people, or rather a lot of sellers, didn't consider that. And that's simply because you cannot track your matrices. You can do Facebook advertisement for your Amazon store, but it's not a viable option. A lot of experienced sellers will be against that. You don't know if it's generating good amounts of sales. You don't know if it's getting enough impressions. conversion rate, click-through rate, you cannot know those before the addition of the attribution tool. So it's simply a bad idea to run Facebook ads for your Amazon store. But now you can do that. It's a viable option now because you can see if the Facebook advertisements that you're running, if it's actually beneficial to your Amazon business or not. You can see the matrices like impressions, click-through rate, how many sales you've made with these Amazon advertisements. So it's a really good time now to run those Facebook advertisements. And I'm not done yet. We also have the Amazon referral bonus program. And to explain it as simple as possible, that is when you manage to draw in customers from outside of Amazon, let's say Facebook or Instagram, and then they purchase one of your products. And what's gonna happen after that, you're gonna receive a 10% on average commission of your product selling price. Let's say you're selling boxing gloves and it costs $10. You're gonna receive $1 of commission for every purchase of a customer that comes outside of Amazon, like Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and you name it. And it might not sound a lot, but if you're thinking of doing outside or non-Amazon advertisement, this will be a lot. This will be a big deal. Let's say you manage to get $5,000 worth of sales from doing those Facebook advertisements. You're going to receive $500 of commission from doing those. So really, really good time to take advantage of this. I'm going to have to talk more about this with you guys, but I'm not going to have to talk about it in this video because I don't want to make it too long, and that's for a different topic. But anyway, I'm just providing the gist of it and what you can do with this, with the attribution tool, the Amazon referral bonus program, and in general, non-Amazon advertisement. All right, let's move on to this one. What is SEO on Amazon? It is the process of optimizing product listings to rank higher in relevant keywords. Having an optimized product listing can increase your product visibility and influence customers' buying decisions. So SEO, that stands for search engine optimization, by the way. But SEO and the A9 algorithm, they're like two peas in a pod. Like, there won't be SEO without the A9 algorithm. Before I further explain SEO, we need to understand first what's the goal of the A9 algorithm. And that is to make sure that the shopping experience of the customers or the consumers is as effortless as much as possible. And for that to happen, we need to do our job. This is where SEO comes in. You need to optimize your product listings. I'm going to divide SEO into two parts. You have internal optimization and then external optimization. Internal optimization is the things that the customers can see, and that is keyword indexing. Looking for or indexing keywords to your backend search terms and whatnot. Basically, putting in relevant keywords to your product listings. That is internal optimization. External optimization is the things that the customers can see and influence their buying decisions, like product title, the images, description, bullet points, the price, especially pricing, and also the reviews. So those are the things that can influence their buying decisions, and that's under external optimization. So obviously, it's important that we really maximize our product listing, because if we're not, then we're simply not going to be visible. If we're not putting in the right keywords to our list, we're not going to be visible under the right search results, and that's going to lead to poor sales. This is why it's really important that you need to know about SEO, but I'm going to have to talk more about that after this. I'm going to have to move on. How does Amazon's A9 algorithm relates to SEO? Amazon's A9 algorithm, like I have already mentioned just a couple of seconds ago, is designed by Amazon to make it as efficient as much as possible for the customers to search for a product they're looking for and to purchase it. While SEO is for sellers to make sure their listing is relevant to what they're selling. If you were to own an e-commerce marketplace or platform, if you were to put yourself under Amazon's shoes, you would want the same thing as well. You want to make sure that it's easy for the customers to find the product that they want to buy. You want to make it as user friendly as much as possible. And that's the goal of the A9 algorithm. And this goal, it wouldn't be possible without SEO or search engine optimization. So again, like what I've already said before, you need to make sure that your listing, like I'm sorry, your title, your images, this is the description, you name it, it's relevant to what you're selling. Like if you're selling boxing gloves, you need to indicate that you're selling boxing gloves. If it's a 10 feet jumping rope, you need to indicate that it's 10 feet. You see what I'm saying? And there are tools out there like Helium 10, Jungle Scout, and a lot of other tools that you can use because you can search it up online. Selix, but my personal favorite is Helium 10. You can use one of those tools to reverse engineer your competitors' products. You can find their keywords, the keywords that they're using, or the most relevant keywords for their products. So you can reverse engineer their product listings, and perhaps you can use those keywords to further expand your keyword bank so that you can put it into your product listing. But visibility, views, purchase, once they see your product, they're going to click on it. And this is once they view it, they're on the product detail page, that's where the external optimization comes in, the things that can influence their buying decision. And then once they find it, something that they really want to buy, once they purchase it, that's going to be conversion rate, either PPC sales, organic sales, or internal sales. All right, that's going to be it for this topic, SEO. There's a lot more to talk about this, but I don't want to make this video too long. There's only so much information that you can cram into, you know, under a 20 minutes video. But before I end this, while SEO, it's obviously an important topic, knowing about SEO isn't automatically gonna make you a better seller. But knowing more about the very marketplace that you're selling on is definitely gonna give you the edge over your competitors. If you ever decide to run PPC campaigns, then SEO, it's just one of the many steps that you need to take in order to have a successful advertisement. And in fact, it's one of the many steps that you need to take and you need to know in order for you to become a successful Amazon businessman or businesswoman. So I'm gonna be talking about PPC advertisement and advertisement in general, and the things that you can do with them on the next video. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. If you wanna have a discussion or know more about certain topics that is within my field of expertise, you can just message me or contact me.